Welcome to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. Our second regional semifinal, the 3-seed Ohio State setting a new school scoring record en route to the Sweet 16. Taking on Tennessee, survivors of a rocky regular season, but here are Big Orange once again in the Sweet 16 for the 34th time in 35 years. A surprise awaits the winner on Sunday in the Elite Eight. The stunning upset for Syracuse as they knocked out top-seeded South Carolina earlier tonight. And we welcome you to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Beth Mowens along with Stephanie White, and we have two of the top scorers in the postseason set to go head-to-head in Kelsey Mitchell for the Buckeyes and Diamond DeShields for the Lady Vols.
Well, they're both so dynamic in the way they score the basketball, and Diamond DeShields has been sensational over the last 6 games. You see averaging almost 20 points a ball game, shooting the ball extremely well. 4 of those games she scored over 20, and Kelsey Mitchell, one of the most dominant scorers we've ever seen in women's basketball, dropped 45 against West Virginia.
And unfortunately, the news is not all good for the Buckeyes. An injury update now from Maria Taylor.
For Ohio State, she will not be able to go. She broke her hand on Tuesday, and ultimately, that's a guard who was very, very critical at the top of the press for Ohio State. But maybe the good news for the Buckeyes is another senior guard, Amherst Alston, is getting back to healthy. She injured her wrist during the Big Ten tournament, but she also has been slowly coming back, playing 21 minutes in the second round of the NCAA tournament. She will have her wrist wrapped. She said really it's irritated when she follows through. She has to be a little bit careful with her defense. Can't react as fast as she would like to with her dribble on offense, but she gets the start today and averages 18 points for the Buckeyes. They're hoping to have a big game from her tonight against Tennessee, ladies.
All right, thank you very much, Maria. As we take a look at our starting lineups, brought to you by Capital One. For Tennessee, things turned for them 7 games ago when Jordan Reynolds joined Diamond DeShields in the backcourt as the 2 starters. And they should have a distinct advantage up front with Graves, Nard, and Mercedes Russell, who will be the tallest player out on the floor at 6'6". Mitchell and Alston, the top scoring backcourt tandem in the country. They'll be joined by Asia Doss, kind of their Swiss Army knife. And then they've got to get something from that front court of Cooper and Hart to balance out their size disadvantage. Winner to the region final. And a date with Syracuse on Sunday afternoon. Buckeyes control the tip. And it is Alston. And the first shot of the day for Asia Doss comes up short.
Well, Tennessee starts out in that 1-2-2. If you're Asia Doss, I don't think you have to be so impatient. I think you're going to get that shot anytime in offense. And Ohio State going to come out and play in the 2-3 zone, really try to pack it in.
Hands on out on the perimeter. That'll be a foul called on Doss.
Well, if you're Ohio State, you can't afford to get in foul trouble. I mean, this is a team that didn't have a lot of depth to begin with. Now you're down Kate Kraft, another perimeter player. You got to be smart on the defensive end of the floor.
They've had injuries all year. They really only have Michaela Waterman to bring in with any experience. Their other 2 players have not played much at all this year. Second chance opportunity for Tennessee. Here is Russell. They want to establish her early, and she scores.
Well, Mercedes Russell had all of her points in the first half against Arizona State. You can establish her inside. She's extremely efficient, and it's a mismatch down low.
Alston gets 2 off the window. Quick counter here from Tennessee, and DeShields had it blocked. Bashar Graves will come out with it. Graves, the senior, with over 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds in her Tennessee career. Here she is, top of the key. Little step back and drains it. Senior out of Clarksville, Tennessee.
I mean, it's going to be really important for Ohio State to secure those defensive boards. They want to play the percentages and force jump shots for Tennessee, but you've got to rebound the basketball. Ohio State's small inside.
Kelsey Mitchell, number 3 in white, averaging a point per minute through the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. Doss off the hesitation. She'll pull up and knock it down. She's aggressively hunting shots here in the early going.
And that's a really good shot for Asia Doss. She is really good at getting in the paint, the mid-range pull up, and now Ohio State can come with their pressure, the 2-2-1.
Couple of early baskets for Mercedes Russell. Give DeShields the assist. It's an offense that has been clicking so much better. Winners of 5 of their last 6 games, and they've been turning it over much less than they were prior. Down to just 11 turnovers per game.
Yeah, after averaging 17 in the 27 games prior. So a much better job of giving themselves an opportunity on offense.
Austin had a hand in her face. Offensive rebound for Cooper. And Shayla will knock it down. And then a little gesture to the Lady Vol bench on her way down the floor.
You don't want to do that, Shayla Cooper. but you called it. Shayla Cooper and Alexa Hart have to be involved on the offensive end for Ohio State.
Russell off to a terrific start. 3 buckets already for her. She's got 6 of Tennessee's 8.
And keep an eye on the Lady Vols on the defensive end of the floor. They're going to pack in this 1-2-2 zone, except for on Kelsey Mitchell. Whichever area she's in, they're going to extend. They do not want to allow her any time or space. They're going to play her man-to-man in the area.
Bashara Graves will hand off Mitchell to Nard. Back out top to Kelsey, over the top of DeShields. No, Russell with the rebound. Jordan Reynolds, the junior out of Portland, Oregon. DeShields, last 6 games back in the starting lineup, averaging 20 a night. Off the mark there, and now here's Mitchell with a transition game. Very rarely does she give up her dribble in these situations, looking for the initial break or the secondary break. Hart floats one up, that won't go. And the block on the defensive end. For the Buckeyes, under the direction of Kevin McGuff, 3rd year as the head coach there in Columbus. After 9 years at Xavier and then a couple of years at Washington. Mitchell, deep 3 short. Where one of his former assistant coaches, Mike Neighbors, took over the Husky program and now has Washington in the Elite 8.
How about Washington? Talia Walton, Kelsey Plum. These guys go back and forth with Kelsey Mitchell and Amaris Alston as the top scoring duos in the country.
Walton had 30 and they upset Kentucky in Rupp Arena. The SEC dropping a couple of games here in the early parts of the Sweet 16.
That was a good drop by Cooper. The lob is going to be there for Tennessee, and Ohio State did a good job of covering that lane.
Mitchell walked with it before she could get going. Holly Warlick, 4 years now as the head coach at Tennessee, 31 years there as a player and an assistant, and now the head coach. A couple of trips to the Elite 8 in the last 4 years. They're looking to get back there again. Of course, Tennessee, 8 national championships, the last one in 2008. They have not returned to the Final Four since. And Mercedes Russell, 8 points on 4 of 4 shooting.
Well, this 2-2-1 press has been nothing for Tennessee. They've done such a good job of making an attack out of the pressure. Getting the ball in the middle of the floor, pushing in transition, getting easy scores.
Russell getting Tennessee out to the early lead here in the Sweet 16. Mercedes Russell hitting her first 4 shots to get Tennessee out early.
Well, that's exactly what Tennessee needed to do. Establish her inside early. They're getting it to her in the quarter court. She's running the lane against the pressure, using the diagonal passing lanes. Tennessee is doing such a good job of moving against pressure with the pass, and Mercedes Russell has been the beneficiary.
50% shooting for the Lady Vols here in the early going and a 10-7 lead. Winner will face Syracuse in the Elite 8, an upset winner earlier tonight over South Carolina, the top seed.
And the Ohio State huddle, ladies, the focus was keeping the ball out of the center of the court when you're trying to make sure that the press is working. And especially with that lane, he said that they're not doing a good job breaking on passes right now, not being aggressive enough in the full court press.
And Ohio State uses that full court press to get their break going. I mean, they really try to turn teams over, and Tennessee is using their length to be able to pass over the top. And Kevin McGuff wants them, if they're going to do that, to pass over the top on the sideline, and then they got a streak as soon as the pass is made on the backside to recover.
Well, and Stephanie, this is as disciplined an offensive quarter that we've seen from Tennessee perhaps all year. Mercedes Russell, we've seen them a few times say, hey, she's got to get more touches, got to get more shots. She's only had double figures in 2 of her last 10 games, and she's already got 10 points here in the first 7 minutes.
Well, I think what you have to do is eliminate the ones out of the pressure in transition. You have to force Mercedes Russell to really work in the quarter court and force Tennessee to work to get it inside to her.
DeShields pulls up mid-range. Nard offensive rebound. And an extra possession here.
Well, what I've been most impressed with Tennessee as we've watched them in practice and we watched them even in warm-up is their energy level. It's a completely different energy level, from body language to communication style to the way that they go about every drill than we saw when we saw them earlier in the year against South Carolina.
Graves kicks it out to Nard for 3, and a timeout here for Ohio State. Terrific start here for the 7 seed. And a 9-0 run.
Well, you establish yourself inside early, you get some easy looks, you get some confidence going, and then it makes shooting it from long range a little bit easier. Nard able to knock down the 3.
Well, coverage of the Division I Men's Basketball Championship Regional Semifinals continued tonight on CBS and TBS. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. So how about 2 women's games and 2 men's games tonight now in the books? And the ACC wins 3 of them. Syracuse women, Notre Dame men, Virginia men. Good night so far for the ACC. The Notre Dame women are playing right now against Stanford over on ESPN. Buckeyes have missed their last 5 shots.
Tennessee's dictated tempo. They've dictated tempo on the offensive end. They've dictated tempo on the defensive end. Ohio State's at their best when they're pushing pace.
Yeah.
And right now they're having to execute in the half court.
Cooper, little off balance on the shot, able to tie up the loose ball. It will go to Tennessee. And for the SEC, a couple of losses tonight. Remember, this conference was dominant for the first nearly 3 decades of the tournament, with Final Fours and championship game appearances and Tennessee's 8 national championships. But a bit of a dry spell for the last 7 years. Just 1 trip to the Final Four. No teams have reached the finals, and obviously it's been 7 years since their last title.
How was that not 3 seconds? There you go.
Russell taps her chest and says, yep, that's my bad. And now they've got to attend to some blood on the knee of Amarist Alston.
I say every time Russell catches it, she needs to shoot it. She has the size advantage. As soon as she brings the ball down, it gives the defense the advantage. Just shoot it right over the top of the defender.
Russell, the 6'6" sophomore from Springfield, Oregon, didn't play last year with foot surgery. This was a Tennessee team that was, with her returning, and DeShields, the transfer from North Carolina, number 4 in the country preseason. And then they went out and had their worst regular season in school history, and yet here they are again, knocking on the door to go to the Elite 8.
Well, it's about playing well at the right time, and they're playing their best basketball heading into the postseason, and that's exactly what you want if you're Holly Warlick.
Mitchell missed. Graves assists DeShields running the floor.
It was interesting talking to the players in our interviews, and they're talking about, hey, we just had to start playing together. We had to start, being good teammates. We had to start worrying about winning and not what everybody was talking about when we were losing. And it sounds simple, but it's not simple through the grind of a season. And when it comes crunch time, that urgency, you start to sense that, and you start to play with urgency.
I think they were feeling a little pressure to perform to the level of all the Tennessee teams before. And DeShields had a great line. She said, we stopped worrying about losing and just started worrying about winning. Oh, Russell wide open underneath. They couldn't see her. Graves faces. Going to go to work on the smaller defender, and Mitchell commits the foul.
Number 3, Elsie Mitchell.
back during this season. And they also had a little bit of help from their alums. Candace Parker came and spoke to the team. The Meeks, that's what Diamond DeShields said when she described it. But they all said the same thing. It's about a sisterhood. They didn't come to hold anything against them. They said they still have plenty to play for, but they had to rely on each other. I think it's a team that has slowly come together, and you can see that every time you speak with them about what has helped them get over the hump here, especially in the postseason.
It was interesting. Yeah, we heard from Tamika, Shamik, well, all the Meeks called us. But there really was a turning point in this season. You look back to those back-to-back losses against LSU and Alabama, and Holly Warlick said it was a turning point because we were getting beat, by teams that were in the lower part of the league, and it was desperation time. And this team's really responded.
How about a 13-0 run right now, and the Buckeyes in big trouble here in the first quarter. Kelsey Mitchell scoreless thus far. Number 3 in white, who scored 45 points in the second round win. Here she is.
Tennessee's doing a great job of communicating where Kelsey Mitchell is, playing her one-on-one, extending when she's in their area.
Big block from Nia Moore. DeShields missed the layup. The push here from Mitchell in transition. Count the basket.
That's what Ohio State's got to do. They've got to find a way to get the pace of the game that they want, to get transition scores. In order to do that, you got to turn over or you got to rebound the basketball. And Kelsey Mitchell able to create the contact, one of the best in the business at that, and an opportunity at the foul line.
Terrific at drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line. Has attempted over 200 this year. Completes the three-point play. It's a 9-point Tennessee lead. As we approach 30 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Graves skips to DeShields. Drops it off inside for Moore. Got it.
That's a great extra pass by Diamond DeShields. She could have very easily taken that shot, but instead she delivers her 4th assist of the ball game.
Off the turnover, DeShields checks the clock. Five seconds in the quarter. Graves got it. What a start for Tennessee. 23-10 Lady Vols. And we'll hear from Holly Warlick on the other side.
It's a 13-point lead for Tennessee here in Sioux Falls. Coach, what has allowed your team to get out to a very quick start in the first quarter?
Well, I think we've taken great shots. We've gotten the ball inside, and that was our game plan, to pound it inside. And we've done a great job of attacking on the drive, passing, and getting it into our post.
You knew that you would see some full-court pressure from Ohio State. How do you feel as though your team has handled it in the first?
Well, I think we've done great. We've got shot layups off of it, and they've gotten out of it, but we got to continue to be aggressive, Maria. Hit the ball inside and turn around and attack. Can't be hesitant. We've got to attack and keep pushing the ball.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Well, Tennessee's been able to get the ball out in transition off of makes and misses. They're moving the ball with the pass. They're pushing. They're getting easy layups. Diamond DeShields has been a terrific facilitator. She might have struggled from the floor, but she's got 5 assists. She's making all the right plays for her teammates, and because of that, Tennessee has 14 of their 23 points in the paint, getting easy buckets. Graves there knocking down the 15-footer.
Their front line in the first quarter was 10 for 10. And they're shooting close to 60% defensively. They held a Buckeye team. Remember, they average 87 per game. They scored just 10 points in that first quarter.
Well, I think that's the best quarter offensively that we've seen all year from Tennessee, and I'm going to tell you why. 9 assists on 10 made field goals. They're getting the best shot on the floor. They aren't trying to go out and do it individually.
Amherst Alston scores along the baseline for the Buckeyes. Cooper, a freshman out of Powder Springs, Georgia. In and out of the starting lineup this year. Just about everybody's had a turn out there to start a ball game. Russell, double team coming, and the turnover.
I like the change by Ohio State to go to man-to-man. Give Tennessee a different look, try to do something to get them out of their offensive rhythm.
side. Hart able to get around Russell and squirts that one up and in.
And I think Ohio State can do that. Give Alexa Hart some touches inside. She is really good at getting around defenders and using her quickness.
Sophomore from Columbus. Particularly good on the offensive glass. They force another turnover. Cooper with the trail. She'll pull up and hit. And a good start to the quarter here for the Buckeyes.
Pace and tempo, creating offense from their defense.
Moore. That's their first miss inside, but a foul on the rebound is going to be on, I think. Is that Kelsey Mitchell? And that is her second personal foul. A minute and a half into this second quarter. And again, not a whole lot of depth for Kevin McGuff to work with. He will keep Kelsey in the game right now as Waterman replaces Hart. On Tuesday, they lost Kate Kraft, their senior, one of their leaders. Broke her left hand out for the remainder of the tournament. That will end her Ohio State career. Now on the bench, giving her teammates support. And then she'll get ready to go to nursing school at Ohio State. Here's Mitchell on the go. Cooper, she's got that kind of range. Short on that shot. Waterman offensive board. A little wild on the putback. And Diamond DeShields is down on the floor, injured.
We saw DeShields on the offensive end of the floor take a spill. Right here trying to attack Amaris Alston, goes down. And she was hurt, calling for a sub after that play. And then on the defensive end, Waterman, who comes in, gets the offensive board and gets tangled up.
She got knocked down a second time, lost her sneaker, and now the athletic trainers will tend to that knee over on the Tennessee bench. Could be a big development here with 7:45 to go. Last touch by the Buckeyes. 10 on the shot clock, no reset here. Reynolds, down to 4 on the shot clock. Nard gonna have to put it up, and a foul with a second left on the shot clock. That's the first on Alston.
Just when you get Tennessee under duress, the shot clock winding down, you foul a jump shooter. You've got to challenge Nard to hit that shot contested.
Instead, Nard will get a couple of free throws. Short on the first. Jamie, 74%. Had a good game in their second round win. They, if you want to call it an upset, they beat the 2 seed Arizona State in Tempe. She had 11 points, 6 boards. Not your usual season on Rocky Top when they're the 7 seed, the lowest they've ever gotten in Tennessee history. After a raucous regular season that saw them lose more times than any other year in their history. And how about Michaela Waterman working on the old board since she's checked into the game?
That's what she does. She's an energy player. She rebounds the basketball. She brings a toughness to this team. She may not score a lot of buckets, but she's going to make a lot of plays.
Redshirt freshman out of Kettering, Ohio. She averages 14 points per game. She may have to play more here tonight. And she'll also have to recover from a bad miss at the stripe. Finds her range. Tennessee's been up by as many as 13 here in the first half.
I like how Cooper's playing Rover inside, ready to help on the post-entry pass.
Well, they come immediately with the double on Russell, who hit her first 5 shots, quiet since. Long two-pointer is good from Reynolds. Look how quickly Mitchell counters.
That's a shot pre-wrist injury you saw Amber Selston take.
Yep. And as the ball ping-pongs around in a whistle, you may have noticed at the top of your screen that they have taken Diamond DeShields back to the Tennessee locker room. As Bashara Graves picks up the foul.
They were looking at Diamond DeShields' right knee, and she said that she could feel it with the flexing and going through some diagnostics. Now she's standing back by the locker rooms, kind of running back and forth, trying to warm back up that knee. She put her shoe back on, grimaced a little bit, but said she was feeling okay, trying again to run it off and return to the game right now.
Thank you, Maria. As Kelsey Mitchell will go to the line, Jordan Reynolds has just picked up her second foul. 85% at the stripe for Kelsey Mitchell this year. Another record-setting season. She has scored 40 points or better in 3 of her last 5 games. Been on a tear late season after Ohio State limped into the NCAA tournament, losing 3 of their last 4 games and losing the Big Ten championship in the final week of the regular season. They dropped 2 in a row, and Maryland swept in and took the regular season crown.
Interesting talking to the Ohio State players about that, the mentality of this team, and they said they really got back to work on the basics. They sort of lost sight of the details down the stretch.
Got their mojo back as Cooper hits the fadeaway. Mitchell, just constant energy, constant motion.
And constantly seeing 2 orange jerseys.
Yep.
They are not going to allow her to drive those lanes. If she's going to get it, it's going to be in transition.
3 ball no good, and Waterman whistled for the foul, and Diamond DeShields has now returned to the Tennessee bench. Well, the NIT heads to New York for its Final Four with the semifinals on Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. It's Valpo BYU, San Diego State GW. Visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Syracuse and Washington, a couple of upset wins to advance to the region finals tomorrow. Syracuse here, Washington down in Lexington. Around and out, Hart with the rebound. Mitchell, they were too slow to close out on Kelsey Mitchell, and she drills the 3. She's got 8.
I think they might have been there. I think she might have just took that little slide step back and created a little bit more space. That was a long one.
Her 125th 3 of the season. As Russell stays perfect for Tennessee, she's now 6 for 6.
Well, she's just now 2 shy of the NCAA single-season record that she set last year.
Mitchell somehow managed to hang on to the ball. Doss, she's short on the 3 attempt. And Alexa Hart going over the bank.
Well, Ohio State can score, so you always have to be aware of them. And Kelsey Mitchell can light it up. The extra pass from Alston. The hand was there. She says, I don't care.
Can UConn's Gino Auriemma pass John Wooden with an 11th national title? This is the NCAA Women's Final Four.
Well, tomorrow the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One continues with more Sweet 16 action. A quadruple header that starts at 11:30 a.m. with the overall #1 seed undefeated UConn taking on Mississippi State, and we'll follow that up with UCLA and Texas. All those games also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Huge win earlier tonight, perhaps the biggest in school history For Quentin Hillsman, Von Reed, and Syracuse, they upset the 1 seed South Carolina and knock out the Gamecocks 80-72. Alexis Peterson leading the way with 26 points. And a big second half comeback. They were down by 13.
Ohio State creates another turnover with the double team down low on Mercedes Russell. I like the switch to man, much more active defensively.
Offensive rebound, second chance is short. Another opportunity, that won't go. Ping-ponging around, and finally Russell comes out with it. Good news for the Lady Vols. Diamond DeShields is back into the game up at the top of your screen. 11 in orange. Being checked right now by Kelsey Mitchell. DeShields, the former freshman All-American, National Freshman of the Year at North Carolina, then transferred to Tennessee. Suffered a stress fracture injury and was slow to get back to form. Foul on the drive. That's the second foul on Michaela Waterman. And Cooper will head to the line. So DeShields out briefly with the injury and has returned. Of course, much speculation this year with the roller coaster ride that was the Tennessee regular season. The roughest regular season in school history. It's taken a while for DeShields and her teammates to find the chemistry that they eventually have discovered here in the last couple of weeks of the season.
Well, this is a Tennessee team that has had a bit of an identity crisis.
Yes.
I mean, they've used 13 different starting lineups, really trying to figure it out. Diamond DeShields, coming off of injury last year, took some time as Alston knocks down the 3 to get herself into a rhythm. And then everybody else trying to figure out how to play with her. And Mercedes Russell, who you mentioned, comes back from injury as well. And they just happen to find that at the right time. And that's all it takes. Finding it at the right time, getting some momentum.
DeShields a big part of that as she's become a 20-point scorer down the stretch. Bashara Graves with the stick back. How about Graves and Russell combining to go 10 for 10 here in the first half? Mitchell, pull up 3, gets the bounce. And now she's 1 3-pointer shy of her NCAA single-season record from a year ago.
And Ohio State has to do a better job on the defensive end of boxing out and finishing the play. Bashara Graves is crashing the offensive glass. Mercedes Russell gets herself in perfect position.
Second foul on Hart. Well, coming up on the Northwestern Mutual halftime report. Syracuse takes down number 1 South Carolina. Washington with the upset of Kentucky in Rupp Arena. And Stanford right now up double digits on Notre Dame, the top seed down in Lexington. If that were to hold, it would be an all Pac-10 final to decide who would go on to the Final Four. Pac-12, excuse me.
How about that? The Pac-12, #1 rated RPI conference. Great job in positioning themselves through scheduling and now seeding in the NCAA tournament and now making a deep run, which typically we haven't seen from the Pac-12 conference with the exception of Stanford. And now all of that scheduling, all of that work is paying off.
Never have they had more than 2 teams in the Elite 8. They still have a chance to get 4 in to the Final 8. Oregon State and UCLA will both play tomorrow, and Graves hits another one. Bashara is 5 for 5. She and Russell have 24 of their 38. Alston with a nice finish down the lane. Ohio State doesn't waste a whole lot of time on the counterattack.
No, that's why they're never really out of a ball game, because of the way that they can score. You know, the question for Ohio State all season long has been, can they get it done on the defensive end? And we've seen this team continue to get better. And let's not forget, really, their defensive staple is Kate Kraft, who's on the bench in a cast.
Jumper is good from Cooper. 10-point Tennessee lead. Taya Cooper with 8 points off the bench.
Heading into the NCAA tournament, Taya Cooper hadn't scored double figures in 3 straight games, has 15 against Green Bay, and is really offensively aggressive here tonight.
Russell stripped and a whistle and a foul. That's going to be on Alston, her second.
So now you got Mitchell with 2, Alston with 2, Waterman with 2. Again, really only a 6-man rotation for the Buckeyes.
And only 3 other bodies total that they can go to off the bench. Terrific first half for Mercedes Russell, perhaps the best of her season. I think that's Mercedes' first miss. She's perfect from the field and now 0 for 1 at the line. 6 for 6, 12 points, 7 rebounds. Warlick has talked a lot about this team's resiliency. They've taken a lot of hits with the inexplicable losses throughout the season, and they have come back.
Well, she's been very positive and very confident in this team's ability to play in the moments, and this team had to find a way to believe in themselves as Waterman gets 2.
She'll have a chance for a 3-point play. Foul is the first on Cooper. Waterman's got 5 points off the bench. Completes it, and again they are lurking. Even though Tennessee's shooting close to 60% from the floor here in the first half. Buckeyes are down just 6. Holly Warlick wants to drop perhaps one final shot here, 23.5 to go.
Yeah, I think Tennessee gets an opportunity to get a touch inside. And you know, if you're Ohio State, you have to feel really good about where you are. And if you're Tennessee, you've done such a good job of dictating tempo.
Now, you've talked about it, and probably the best half of offense that we've seen all season from Tennessee. Assisting on 12 of their 16 buckets. They have not gotten away from pounding it inside, where Russell and Graves are a combined 11 for 11.
And I think one thing that may not be noticeable sometimes when you watch it on TV, but when you're in the arena, in the environment, they trust one another right now. When we saw them in February, there wasn't a lot of trust on the floor. Right now, they trust and believe in one another. And as a result, they've made this tremendous run over the last 6 games.
Shot clock is off. Cooper to DeShields. Using the screen, off the bounce, gets up and under the defender for 2, her first bucket of the night. Mitchell, good if it goes. An efficient first half for the Lady Vols, and the 7 seed leads the 3 seed 43-35 here in Sioux Falls. And now over to Maria Taylor.
Well, Diamond, this is the second highest point total that you guys have had in a half all season. What has worked well for you on the offensive side of the court?
Well, we knew we had a size advantage, so we're just doing our best to get the ball inside to Mercedes, Bashar, and Nia, and I mean, they're making plays for us, so that's what we're going to keep doing.
What does it take to come back in the second half with the same type of momentum that you've built throughout this first?
Well, it just takes, I mean, we want to get to a Final Four. That's what we're thinking about, and that's all it takes for us right now. Just keeping our eyes set on the ultimate goal.
Thanks for your time, Diamond.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. 61% shooting for Tennessee. Their rebound margin was plus 11, and on the scoreboard, they are up 8. Stay tuned for the Northwestern Mutual halftime report coming up after the break. It's the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. How about the guard talking about the bigs in the studio? And Rebecca talking Mitchell. What? Shoot it up. It's been that kind of chaotic night. Upsets already in the first 2 games of the Sweet 16 with Syracuse and Washington both winning. And the stunner for the Orange knocking out the top seed, South Carolina. Stanford has Notre Dame in trouble as well tonight. through the first 20 minutes of play. Beth Mowens along with Stephanie White, and why not if you're Tennessee, keep pounding it inside. Graves and Russell are a combined 11 for 11, 25 points in the half.
Well, Holly Warlick talked about it. We have the size advantage. We have to play from the inside out, and it has been very successful, so stick to the game plan. 24 points in the paint. Mercedes Russell 6 for 6 for 13 points to go along with 7 boards. And what I liked about it is they were getting it in a lot of different ways. They were getting it in transition against the pressure. They were getting it one-on-one by moving and shifting the defense. Graves was showing that she could extend her range as well. Tennessee clicking as well offensively as we've seen them all year. 12 assists on 17 made field goals.
And that's why they're shooting 61%. They are plus 11 on the glass as well. Let's check in now with Maria.
Well, Beth, according to Kevin McGuff of Ohio State, he said the key for his team is definitely going to be shutting down the interior by continuing to change the look, whether that's a zone or a man, and not letting Tennessee get comfortable. That's something that he told us before this game would be very, very important. He wants his defense to be a little more aggressive, and offensively, they're looking to spread the floor a little bit more, create some lanes to drive in, and continue to attack offensively. He said they're in this game and have a chance. It's going to be about aggression and who can gut out the final 20 minutes.
And they got to push tempo, and they push tempo by being aggressive on the defensive end. You saw them come out with a little soft trap. They're going to one-on-one inside and then come with a double team.
20 minutes for a spot in the Elite Eight and a matchup with Syracuse on Sunday afternoon. And Miss Mitchell with the aggressive drive to the 10, can't finish. Nard drops it off for Russell, and Mercedes is now 7 for 7 on the night. And another assisted bucket.
Another assisted bucket. Really good job of pushing it ahead with the pass. It's good for a lot of young players to watch this because you don't have to pound the ball to push it in transition. It moves quicker with a pass and it's more efficient.
Alston, Cooper, Doss, Mitchell, and Hart out there to start this second half for the Buckeyes. Hart tried to muscle it in on Russell, who's joined by DeShields, Graves, Nard. Cooper with the pull-up, won't go. And then a miscommunication, Doss and Mitchell.
We're going to see transition break for Tennessee. The ball moves with the pass. Pass it ahead. See the diagonal. Extra pass. High percentage look.
Quick on the inbound. They caught Ohio State napping, and Russell scores again.
That's just a lack of awareness on the defensive end. Out of the sideline, out of bounds play by the Buckeyes. They're going to have to really tighten it up on defense.
Alston. Reference it in the first half. This is a team capable of scoring 100 points, but also of giving up 100 points.
And notice the difference. I mean, Tennessee using one another, getting high percentage looks, moving the basketball. Ohio State, everybody trying to do it on their own. Everybody pounding the basketball in the quarter court. The ball's got to be moving. It's got to be popping. You got to force this zone defense to shift, and then you're going to get good looks.
So the change here for Tennessee with Cooper out there to start in this second half, a couple minutes in. We're going to show the zone here on the inbound, and Alston gets the three. Amherst, the senior from Canton, Ohio, 4th all-time in scoring. Only Jantel Lavender, Katie Smith, and Jessica Davenport have scored more in their Buckeye careers. Pretty impressive company.
Some pretty good company right there.
Of course, that list may change quickly with this young lady's next 2 seasons. Mitchell off the crossover. Can't knock it down. Taken away by Hart. Scrapping inside. Another missed opportunity for the Buckeyes. And then Russell steps out of bounds and turns it over, and it appeared that there was a bump involved.
If you're Ohio State, you've got to be able to come away with one of those buckets. You got them at point-blank range, and maybe got away with one there.
Mitchell now, by the way, is 3 for 9 in the ball game.
Not very good spacing for Ohio State. You want to be able to attack that zone, but you got to create some space for those driving lanes. You got to move that ball.
Good flash to the middle by Doss. And a whistle and a foul going to be called on Alexa Hart going over the back. That is her third.
Ohio State coming with that pressure. They're going to try to trap the basketball. They've got to try to get some turnovers for scores. Tennessee's done an exceptional job, I think, of dictating tempo. They've been poised with the basketball. They've taken transition buckets when they're there. When they have it, they've really executed and made Ohio State work on D.
DeShields couldn't get that to go. Russell, her first miss of the night. After hitting her first 8 shots, here's Kelsey Mitchell going to drive into Russell to draw the foul. And a couple of free throws coming for Mitchell.
But you even saw in that possession when Kelsey Mitchell caught the ball, somebody was right there. Jamie Nard was right there. They are not allowing Kelsey Mitchell any room to run downhill. They're sending 1 or 2 people at her every possession.
She's 3 of 3 from the free throw line. In their second round win over West Virginia, she tied the NCAA record for the tournament, hitting 18 of 22 free throws. She can beat you at the line. She can beat you off the bounce. She can beat you from way outside the arc.
And that's a difference between great shooters and great scorers. Scorers get to the foul line.
Russell goes to the right side, has missed a couple in a row. Buckeyes scratching their way back into this. Mitchell, deep 3 out by the hash mark, air ball. It's an Ohio State team well tested. They played a brutal schedule early in the season to try and help them prepare for a deep postseason run. Cooper now with 10 points. Buckeyes played all 4 teams that were in the Final Four last year. They lost to Connecticut, South Carolina. They beat Maryland a couple of times during the regular season. Cooper off the mark. Cooper bumped on the drive. Taya has come out much more aggressive offensively tonight. Well, Madison Square Garden will be hosting the men's NIT Final Four on Tuesday night with the semifinals. GW, San Diego State in the night's second semifinal at 9 Eastern. Visit NCAA.com and head for all 90 NCAA championships. Follows the second on Asia Doss. Cooper will check out. Well, they're going to change the foul now and give it to Amherst Olsen, her third.
Yeah, I thought it was Olsen. She was the one that was checking Cooper. And Cooper should have went up for that shot. She passed it off. She could have got to the foul line.
Inside, Russell back on track. 19 points and 10 boards for Mercedes.
And it's just too easy. I mean, utilizing that size, being able to get easy passes. And, you know, Ohio State has to do a better job of pressuring the basketball as well as trying to get in those passing lanes.
Last touch by the Buckeyes out of bounds. Kevin McGuff waving his hand to bring the Buckeyes up to apply some pressure. Reminder, too, that they're without Kate Kraft, who is usually at the top of their press, who broke her hand in practice during the week.
And without Lisa Blair, who's their 6'5" center, who was starting at some points in the season, the one person who could probably match Mercedes Russell size for size.
Taya Cooper, the 2-time Georgia Miss Basketball. 12 points now for her. Austin in traffic, gonna back it back out. Doss. Way off the mark. Waterman, offensive rebound for 2. On the run. Beating the defense up the floor, and Nard with a chance for a 3-point play assisted by Cooper. An efficient Tennessee attack has them up here in the third.
The NCAA Women's Championship, presented by Capital One, is brought to you by Panera Bread, food as it should be. And Principal, no matter who you are or where you end up in life, progress is possible.
Well, log on to ESPNW for more exclusive content on the NCAA Women's Championship, including the new podcast, Around the Rim, featuring LaChina Robinson and Chinea Gwumike. Also, Notre Dame, are they ready for another title run? Well, they're in trouble at the half against Stanford. Also, the Sweet 16 picks from the ESPNW expert. We've already had 2 upsets. Syracuse ousting South Carolina, and Washington winning at Rupp Arena over Kentucky tonight. And now off the free throws, the biggest lead of the evening for Tennessee, as they have dominated in the paint with Bashara Graves and Mercedes Russell. They are a combined 14 for 16 tonight. Waterman, offensive foul as Cooper takes the charge. How about the ball game for Taya Cooper off the bench? Oh, did she have a foot in the
well, I'm not sure about
inside the arc, and was she moving?
I'm not sure about that call. I think she was still moving, and she was sort of on the side of Michaela Waterman.
Yeah. That's a tough break for the Buckeyes. That's her 4th foul.
And she's been a source of energy off the bench.
Shields fouled on the drive. We've seen a lot of Taya Cooper, but not Jordan Reynolds, and Maria's got more.
Well, you're right, Beth. Jordan Reynolds did not return with the team after they came out for the half from the locker room. No update from the athletic training staff on her status. I did see her speaking with athletic trainers on the bench during the first half. Now, Reynolds is what Holly Warlick says is a steadying force for her team. She's that point guard that's been a really good leader, had 12 points against Arizona State in the second round of the NCAA tournament. And right now, Taya Cooper in for playing well in her absence.
All right, thank you very much, Maria. So no Jordan Reynolds right now, and no Amarist Alston for Ohio State. She leaves with 4 fouls. And now they will have to go deeper into their bench. Kalpana Beach, who's only played 60 minutes all year, is out there trying to defend Mercedes Russell and hedging hard on a screen. Kelsey Mitchell is 3 for 10, 13 points so far on the night. She's been held in check. And she just got pushed out of bounds. That's the second foul on Russell. Mercedes departs as Graves comes back on.
Got to get it in.
Mitchell leaves it off for Waterman, goes to the left and scores inside. She's got 10 points.
Her career high is 11. So Michaela Waterman has been a good source of not only energy, but production.
Well, the Buckeyes just have not been able to speed up the tempo for an extended period of time. They're 40 points below their scoring average right now with just under 3 minutes to go here in the third.
Well, and this is an experienced Tennessee team. I mean, they have struggled this year in terms of inconsistencies and probably identity as well. But it's a team who's experienced, who understands game plans, and who really the last 6 games, and no exception tonight, has executed the game plan exactly the way the coaching staff has wanted them to.
DeShields tried to split the defenders, and then Diamond's going to be whistled for the foul. And it's going to be her first. It hasn't been her best shooting night tonight. She's just 1 of 8, but 7 assists for DeShields. And one of the big differences since she's entered the starting lineup has been taking better care of the basketball. She has had games this year, 7 turnovers, 8 turnovers, and she has cleaned that up in the last month.
Well, and the difference in Tennessee's wins and losses as well, her assist-to-turnover ratio. And one of the things I like, as Kelsey Mitchell gets to about Diamond DeShields here tonight, is, yeah, she's struggling from the floor, but she's not pressing, and she's not trying to make something out of nothing. She's really playing within the system.
Bashara Graves with her first miss after making her first 5 shots. Doss looking for 3. Scramble for the loose ball. It was on the sideline, and it's going to go back to the Buckeyes. Tennessee turnovers, just 3 for Ohio State tonight. But Ohio State just 33% shooting. Number 2 to go in the third. Cooper. Beach. Held ball, and it will stay with Ohio State. Russell's going to come back in, replacing Carter.
Let's go, girl.
Mitchell getting into the lane. Cooper with the tip and wipe it off. She's going to be called for the over the back. That's the first on Shayla Cooper. And that is going to put Tennessee into the bonus. So 2 free throws coming up for the Lady Vols.
It's odd. We look at the score of this game and can't believe it. It's still really within striking distance, because it feels like in every area Tennessee has dictated, but Ohio State, with their attack, still an opportunity to make a push. They can score a lot in a short period of time, but Tennessee still doing a very good job of just maintaining and dictating tempo.
8 points, 7 boards for Nard. Gets a couple of free throws there. 13-point Tennessee lead. The winner moving on to the Elite Eight and a date with Syracuse on Sunday. Orange stunned South Carolina to advance earlier tonight. Cooper stepping into the 3 ball, short.
Got a mismatch down low. Mitchell's on Graves.
Trying to get Graves set up in there. Cooper's fighting with her. So they'll go the other way. DeShields. Diamond DeShields for 3. Timeout, Ohio State. What a turnaround for Tennessee in the last couple of weeks. In control here in the Sweet 16. DeShields going to her left to rattle home a 3. Tennessee here in control, a minute to go in the third quarter. Earlier tonight, a huge upset for Syracuse, advancing to the Elite Eight for the first time in school history over South Carolina.
Well, Alexis Peterson was fantastic. She really took over the ball game, had 26 points, dictated tempo, understood time and score, did an excellent job of attacking in the paint. Syracuse able to pull off this upset because they dictated in every area of the basketball game, and she was the reason why.
26 for Peterson, Butler with 18, Sykes with 17. Their guards were spectacular. And they bump off the #1 seed here in the Sioux Falls region, sending South Carolina home early. And the Orange will face the winner of this matchup on Sunday afternoon at 3:30 Eastern. Doss floats one up to the rim. The story in this game has been the dominance inside for Tennessee. 19 points for Mercedes Russell, a dozen for Bashara Graves. shooting 50% here in the third quarter.
And have dictated tempo. Ohio State is a team who likes to play with pace, who likes to get up and down the floor, and Tennessee has prevented that.
They've held Kelsey Mitchell to just 4 of 12 shooting tonight. Shot clock is off. Taya Cooper, who's been running the point in the absence of Jordan Reynolds, she has been absent from the Tennessee bench here in the third quarter. Holding for the final shot. Graves gets by Hart. Alexa able to block the shot. Cooper's heave won't go. We'll hear from Ohio State coach Kevin McGuff when we come back for the start of the fourth quarter.
We have played 3 quarters in Sioux Falls between Ohio State and Tennessee, joined now by the head coach of the Buckeyes, Kevin McGuff. And Coach, you are dealing with a little bit of foul trouble, including Amherst Alston. What will be your message to her and the way in which you want her to play in the fourth quarter?
Well, you know what? You can't carry those fouls over to next year. So, you know, we got 1 quarter here to get this game where we want it. So she needs to go play her game regardless of the fouls.
You said you wanted this to be a game that was played in the 80s. What do you have to do offensively to put more points on the board right now?
Well, they've done a good job defensively. Credit them. But then we've gotten some good shots here that we haven't made. So we're going to have to make some of those shots. Probably most importantly, we can't give up anything easy in transition. We got to keep them off the boards.
All right, thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Maria. Well, on the last play of the quarter, Bashara Graves apparently got hurt. And during the break between quarters, she was over there crying on the sideline. The athletic trainers had her surrounded. This is the play it happened on. Hard to see any contact there. She certainly didn't fall awkwardly. So Graves is over on the bench right now. And what has otherwise been a big night for the post players for Tennessee and a new career high for Mercedes Russell. She's now got 21 points and 13 rebounds.
First team foul on the line, number 21, Russell.
She has hit 10 of her 12 shots, and it's 6-6. For the first time since the season opener, they have really gone to her and just kept going back to her with the huge size advantage.
Well, they've been disciplined in their attack. They've been disciplined in their game plan. Doss gets 2 over Russell. And that's what it's going to take. And that's what they've done over the last 6 games, and that's what it's going to take.
We heard some oohs and ahs and some boos. Russell and Shayla Cooper got tangled up at the other end of the floor. The Shields misses the shot. Cooper's got the rebound. Nard posting up inside. Shot clock winding down. They've got a jack one. Offensive rebound by Carter, who finds Russell. Things going the big orange way tonight. Alston can't knock it down. Saved to Tennessee. Here comes Cooper with the push. A pass deflected. And it's turned over.
Bashara Graves right now, guys, on the bench getting checked out by the athletic training staff. It's her pinky finger on her left hand that's bothering her right now. They're taping it together to her ring finger, but she isn't grimacing as much as she was when she initially came off the court. She even gave a smile and said she'd be good to go.
She's been having a decent night, 5 of 7, but remember too, we still don't know the status of Jordan Reynolds. That's possibly 2 starters that are nicked up here in the Sweet 16 if they do finish this off and advance. With under 8 minutes to go, and what a remarkable turnaround it would be for a Tennessee team that suffered the most losses in school history, fell out of the national rankings for the first time in 31 years, received their lowest seed in NCAA tournament history. And through all the ups and downs and all the heat that they took, and now those are a couple of former high school teammates right there, Cooper and DeShields having a chat from Norcross, Georgia. It's been a frustrating night for Ohio State. And now Cooper will check out.
Well, there was a battle inside. Cooper defended Nard and called for the push-off right there, and then you'll see the contact on the bump. And then earlier with Russell, caught between Mercedes Russell, and as she started to take off, it looks like her elbow might have gotten Russell as well. So the Tennessee fans not happy with Shayla Cooper.
Officials are going to go to the monitor here to check to see if there was any reason for more punishment to be meted out. But just to finish up on that thought of Tennessee, despite the roller coaster ride, here they are. Big Orange right where they thought they would be when the season started, and that could be playing for a spot in the Final Four.
I mean, it really is amazing the journey that this team has taken, and the microscope is always on them in the Lady Vol community to play for national championships. And this season, as disappointing as it was, not only was it disappointing within themselves, but they were constantly hearing the criticism, constantly hearing everybody counting them out. And Holly Werlich said, we're shutting down social media. We're getting back to the basics, and we're going to find a way to come together. And for this team to be able to get through that from a mental standpoint and be able to put themselves in a position that they're in right now is really remarkable.
She said they never gave up. They never pointed fingers at one another. DeShields on the inbound. Drops it down. Stripped away by Diamond with numbers on the break. DeShields missed the layup. It's going to stay here with Tennessee.
You mentioned her talking about not pointing fingers as we see Diamond DeShields just elevate, and that out of bounds play. We've seen that a time or two, and the bench celebrating with her. But the other thing she said is, you know what, we've been a pretty good practice team. It just never really translated into the game. And I think that you see the confidence level of this team right now playing up to the potential and the expectation.
Really connected on the back door. Well, what really had people scratching their heads all year long was every time they put 5 players out on the floor, they were all high school All-Americans. And so the chemistry, which was an issue apparently during the regular season, not so much anymore. And under 7 minutes to go, they are on the brink of advancing deeper into the tournament than the SEC champs, the South Carolina Gamecocks, who have won 5 of the last 6 SEC titles, regular season and postseason. Got a whistle and a foul off the ball. That'll be on Kelsey Mitchell. That's her third. 18 team fouls on Ohio State, 8 on Tennessee tonight. A stat I know you coaches like to check out post-game. Cooper with 2 more.
And Tennessee's just continued to pour it on the offensive end. The Buckeyes haven't scored in a little over 3 minutes. And this is what you're not used to seeing from Ohio State. This is a team who can score in bunches, who averages 87 points a ball game as Amaris Alston knocks down a 3. The defensive energy, execution of the game plan has really taken Ohio State out of rhythm.
6:11 to go. It's a 19-point Tennessee lead.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase, every day. And in part by Progressive, comparing rates to help you save. Now that's Progressive. And AT&T, mobilizing your world.
Back here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and the Tennessee Lady Vols, the 7 seed, looking to upset the 3 seed Ohio State. Time to take a look at our Capital One Cup impact performance, and it is Mercedes Russell.
Well, she's been terrific all night long. They were going to get the ball inside early and often, and they've certainly executed that game plan. Very efficient from the floor. A lot of times we've seen her be impacted in one half or another. Tonight it's been the entire ball game, and I think one of the reasons that Tennessee has an opportunity to advance to the Elite Eight and play themselves into a Final Four is executing and continue to execute that game plan.
New career high in scoring. Her next rebound would tie her career high in boards. And as we move under 6 minutes to go, Cooper, the hesitation and the lay-in. Taya Cooper having herself a terrific second half. She's got 16.
Well, she's had a great ball game. You know, she's been a starter on and off this season and has really been under control the entire ball game.
Middleton keeps, and that was not the best decision. And it looks like it's going to stay with Tennessee anyways. Was it deflected off the backboard or was it shot off the backboard is what Ohio State wants to know. Here comes Mitchell on a breakout. Draws the contact and scores.
Kelsey Mitchell is so good in transition and just creating that little bit of a bump contact. She gets rung through the ringer. When she attacks, she gets a lot of body contact and could probably get to the free throw line a little bit more than she does. But you can see the fatigue hanging on the shorts. Everything that she's gotten tonight, she has had to work incredibly hard for.
They've been really affected and impacted by the injuries this year. They have some big-time transfers and a good recruiting class coming in next season in Columbus. The block and the turnover. And speaking of injuries, now it's Andrea Carter. This is the third Tennessee player that has left the game. It's a finger on her left hand that's getting some attention. So both she and Bashara Graves out right now with finger injuries, and Tennessee, they have not released any information on why Jordan Reynolds did not come out of the locker room at halftime. Mitchell, bumped from behind, and more free throws coming for Kelsey. First foul on Nard.
Shooting cue, number 3, Kelsey Mitchell.
She is on pace, by the way, to chase down the legendary Jackie Stiles, who is the NCAA's all-time scoring leader, and Kelsey is ahead of her pace through the first 2 seasons.
Last season, the first freshman to lead the nation in scoring. Fastest Big Ten player in history to 1,000 points, past Kelly Mazzanti. Getting in 6 fewer games than Mazzanti.
The number she's got to get to is 3,393. That's Stiles' number. That includes one single season, her senior year, of 1,062 in one campaign, and they ended up going to the Final Four at Missouri State. That was back in 2001. We anticipated a big night on the glass for Tennessee. That has materialized. They are now plus 23 on the glass. The shot clock winding down. Doss tracks down the board. Under 4 minutes to go. Alston with the three-pointer. The senior may be playing her final minutes for the Buckeyes in a spectacular career that currently has her at number 4 on the all-time scoring list for the Buckeyes. It's an 8-0 run right here, though, as they're trying to make things interesting again with 3:42 to play. Well, tonight after the NCAA Women's Sweet 16 over on ESPN, Stanford and Notre Dame are in the final 30 seconds with Stanford up 5. After the conclusion of that game at SportsCenter at night with Lisa Kearney and Kevin Connors. And certainly one of the leads will be all the upsets in the Sweet 16 for the women. Syracuse beating South Carolina tonight. Washington knocking out Kentucky tonight.
Look, we haven't seen a lot of upsets in the women's game typically in the past, and it's really good to see the parity, to see teams that have taken a journey from the beginning of the season to right now, putting themselves in position to win ball games.
Especially this late in the tournament, and we have 4 games tonight.
Yeah.
If the scores hold, all 4 of them would be upsets.
We need to get research on finding out if that's ever happened.
Almost unheard of. Huge night for Erica McCall with Stanford. And the possibility lurking right now that 2 number 1 seeds could be ousted in about a 2-hour period. Buckeyes, though, trying to put a little pressure on the Lady Vols. They may not be done yet, and then Mitchell turns it over.
Right now you see Tennessee really spreading it out, working that clock.
Offensive rebound and the stick back as Bashara Graves has returned to the lineup for the Lady Vols. 6 for 8 now, 14 points for her tonight. Alston fouled on the drive by DeShields.
Well, if you're Tennessee, the last thing you want to do is give Ohio State opportunities at the foul line. Now you got one more shot and you're in the penalty. Alston has 2 free throws coming right here. That's a quick way to let a team back in the ball game.
We know with their ability to score, they got ample opportunity if they can push tempo here for the final 2:48.
Well, Tennessee's just done such a good job of not allowing Ohio State any offensive rhythm. And, you know, a lot of that's their defense, but a lot of that's their offense. Your offensive execution is your best transition defense, and Tennessee has been on point in everything that they've done. They've been precise. They've taken their time. They've gotten the ball to who they wanted and when they wanted and where they wanted it.
Russell to Graves. Alston has it. Mitchell, deep 3, short. How about 21 assists tonight on the 30 buckets for Tennessee? As efficient as they've been all year.
We just really can't say enough about this Tennessee team, and it's not easy when you've gone through the struggles to put it together like they have, and just a tremendous job of maintaining the momentum that they've gained. tremendous job of executing the game plan and really getting balance and production from multiple players. Yes, it was dominated on the interior by Graves and Russell, but Taya Cooper off the bench was outstanding. Diamond DeShields struggled from the floor, but did a great job of facilitating. Jamie Nard, some production as well offensively, and just an overall terrific team effort by Tennessee.
Turnover there with just about a minute 15 to go. How far have they come in a short period of time? Well, they're unranked coming into the NCAA tournament, folks. Not even in the top 25. In the SEC tournament, they were seeded 9th in the SEC tournament. And now they are about to become one of the last 8 teams standing. And a chance to go to the Final Four for the first time since 2008. Alston cans a 3. It's down to a 14-point game. And then Mitchell whistled for the foul. Fourth on Mitchell. Diamond DeShields to the free throw line. Orange has definitely been the color of the night here in the Denny Sanford Premier Center, as it is shaping up as Syracuse and Tennessee in the region final, as Russell and Graves depart. A combined 39 points as we check out the bracket, and we are going to have 4 upsets in 4 games as Stanford has stunned Notre Dame. 2 of the #1 seeds bounce tonight in the Sweet 16.
Well, just a year ago, we saw Notre Dame bounce Stanford in our Oklahoma City region. And how about the Pac-12 continuing to advance?
A fantastic year for the West Coast, and the Pac-12 will continue. They've got 2 more teams that could advance tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. They've never gotten more than 2 teams into the Elite Eight, and they will have a chance to push that envelope. It really is one of the more stunning nights in tournament history, with the upsets here and in Lexington. And the turnaround season will continue for Tennessee. They will have a chance to play for a spot in the Final Four. Surviving and advancing.
And you could see the emotion on Holly Warlick's face. And I'm sure the relief of continuing to believe in this team and continuing to challenge this team to be where they are right now.
It's all orange in the region final. Tennessee and Syracuse on Sunday afternoon. As the Lady Vols advance to their 28th regional final, it will be the first appearance for Syracuse. Four games, 4 upsets. Syracuse knocks off South Carolina. Tennessee defeats Ohio State. Stanford stuns Notre Dame. And Washington bumps Kentucky. It will be an all Pac-12 region final in Lexington Sunday. And it's all orange here in Sioux Falls. Maria has Holly Warlick.
Thanks, Beth. And it's all smiles with Coach Warlick right now. You know, your team had to deal with a lot of adversity. But one thing you said is that they are resilient. What did they show you here in the Sweet 16?
Well, we had great effort. It's a team effort. I think somebody stepped up. Jamie Nard stepped up. Mercedes. Then Diamond would do it. Taya had some great drives. So no question it was a team effort. We can't do it by ourselves. And I'm so proud of them. It's they held on against a very good Ohio State team.
Well, you mentioned Mercedes, a career high in points for her. She was big on the boards. How has she been able to come on late, especially in the postseason for you?
Well, I just think she's really been focused, and she's gone to work like she should.
You've been focused.
I have. I didn't even know it was behind me. If I would have, I would have. But I'm just really proud of her. She's gone to work. She hadn't shied away from contact. And that's how we need her to play. She's got to be solid. And when she does that, she's unbelievable.
A lot of injuries, though. We saw Andrea Carter going back to the locker room, Bashara Graves and Jordan Reynolds never returning for the second half. What is a status update, especially on Reynolds here?
Yeah, I think Jordan hit her head. Don't know what that is. And we had two hands that didn't look very good, but they played. So, hey, we got to stay focused. And if we have to play with one hand, we need to do that. It's tournament time, so we got to just forge on.
All right, and a lot of orange is going to be in the Elite Eight. You play in Syracuse.
Yes.
Biggest key that stands out to you in that matchup?
Well, they're going to run a zone. We're going to have to hit outside shots, move the ball, and contain their shooters. I thought they did a great job today. They didn't stray away from their game plan. They're going to do the same to us. They're not going to let us get in the ball inside. There's probably going to be 2 or 3 people around Mercedes. And we'll go back and go to work. And really felt bad for South Carolina. Had a great year. Dawn Staley's a class act. And they did a great job for the SEC. And sad to see them go. Glad we're advancing. But get ready for Syracuse.
All right, I'll let you get to your team, Coach. They seem excited to see you.
All right, thank you.
And it's a rematch as well. The Lady Vols beating the Orange back on November 20th in a nail-biter, a 2-point win for Tennessee. They will square off again with much higher stakes Sunday afternoon with a berth in the Final Four on the line. Now back to the studio with Kevin, Kara, and Rebecca.